And welcome to this edition of ACAP Today for Monday, the 4th of May, 2020. This is Commitment to Our Community Week on ACAP Today, and so we welcome you all to the program. As we begin Commitment to Community Week, as I just mentioned, today is May the 4th, so we want to share with you that May the 4th be with you. Community action is a united force for opportunity, and so today is, as we call it, Star Wars Day, and we certainly are part of that effort in being a force in all of our communities. There are nearly or just over 1,000 community action programs across the country, and ACAP is pleased and proud to be one of those. Tomorrow is a preview for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday. Normally this is held on the Tuesday following the Thanksgiving weekend, but given COVID-19 and all the circumstances around the country, there is a special Giving Tuesday being launched tomorrow to support nonprofits who are working on the front lines of COVID-19. So you'll be seeing a lot more about that tomorrow and hearing about it through our Facebook presence and social media presence. We also want to remind community members that if you are interested in accessing ACAP services, a lot of folks, I was just speaking with our development and communication manager, Sherry Locke, we've seen about an increase in about 600 clients over the last month, but certainly are able to help more individuals in these difficult times. If you'd like to request assistance, there's an online form that you can complete right on our webpage, and that'll help us better serve you when we reach back out to you. So please do look at the bottom of our website as indicated here and complete that form if you have the opportunity. It'll help us better assist you. We also have created this flyer that we are circulating and distributing through school districts, municipalities, other nonprofit organizations, and healthcare organizations, looking at 6 of the programs among the 40 that we offer that may be of help to folks right now. Among those is the Rental Relief Program. That's a partnership with Maine Housing and the Governor's Office. The Rent Relief Program is for renters who cannot afford to pay their rent due to circumstances related to the coronavirus pandemic. It's a program designed to provide you a one-time bridge payment of up to $500 that goes directly to the landlord. If you are finding yourself in this situation as May's Rent is concerned, please do give us a call at 764-3721, or you can go right onto Maine Housing's website at mainhousing.org/COVID-rent for more information and to apply. We also want to let folks know that the Home Energy Assistance Program is continuing to see applications. We've seen about just over 100 that we've processed for individuals impacted by COVID-19. Season-wide, we've processed just over 5,000 applications this season. Now is a time to get an appointment. In the fall, we typically hold appointments for seniors and families with very young children, the more vulnerable in our community, and all of the appointments are generally booked through the month of January. So if you are in need of assistance for heating and you think that even though the days are getting warmer, the assistance will be there as a credit on your fuel vendor bill for a year, and certainly will be there this fall when you need it. So please do reach out if this is an area that we can assist you in. We are also, through our Head Start program, currently accepting applications for fall and summer sessions. We are looking to do a special summer Head Start session to help children who were affected by COVID-19 and their families who have been out of classroom sessions. Please do call us today if you'd like to register your child for either summer or fall 2020 sessions. We are looking at an online training opportunity, the last in a series presented by our workforce development team. This one is on interviewing tips, and that will be held this Thursday, May 7th. We certainly encourage you to contact Kathy Williams if you are interested in participating in that Zoom video conference training. We're also offering our virtual first-time homebuyer program. That's going to be held on Saturday, May 23, and it's going to be held via Zoom. Typically, those classes are held in person. We already have 15 individuals who have signed up, so the class was a go once we hit 12, and there is still a room to get to about 24 registrants for this class. And there are a number of great incentives for individuals who sign up for this class in terms of credit toward their closing cost and a very low interest rate as well. So we encourage folks to learn more information or sign up for that course. Contact Greg Doak. His email address and phone number are right there on your screen. And this is one of the last times we're going to be promoting this because we anticipate that they will be shutting this site down soon. These are the IRS economic impact payments or stimulus payments. If you have not received your payment or notification of your payment, please do contact us. We can help you complete that online and ensure that you get your stimulus payment. And a reminder from our friends from the Northern New England Poison Center, now that folks are doing a lot at home and staying home more these days, they do offer assistance through the Poison Center. Please do contact them. They've put out this helpful guide at this time, which is available on their website. Please do reach out to them if you have any questions, and certainly want to continue to be safe in your homes. And we also want to remind folks that if you are housing insecure or homeless, we are offering, in partnership with the University of Maine at Presque Isle and Maine Housing, a wellness shelter for individuals experiencing homelessness. Not only is it providing a roof over your head, but our team there is doing some tremendous work at helping folks get into housing and get into education and training and employment as appropriate at this point. We've enrolled a student or an individual in the wellness shelter in adult education at a distance at this time, and we're going to be housing our third individual into a more permanent housing situation tomorrow. So things there are going very well. Altogether, 13 residents have utilized the shelter. There are currently 7 participating at the shelter at this time. And the last up in news you can use today to help folks get out and get moving in the community during COVID-19 and this pandemic. We are encouraging folks to do some recreational activity, appropriately socially distanced and with your family, of course, maintaining that 6 feet distance. So throughout the month of May, please send us a photo of you doing physical activity in the community and be entered into a random drawing for a basket of goodies, courtesy of ACAP and Northern Light A.R. Gould Hospital. We'll be doing this drawing each Friday in May. So please do mail your entry to Don Roberts or droberts@northernlight.org. And we look forward to seeing what many folks are doing in their community to keep active at this time. And joining us on this edition of ACAP Today now are 2 gentlemen who we have the pleasure of having on our ACAP Board of Directors, who are 2 leaders in the state of Maine. Troy Jackson is the Senate President. Troy, welcome to ACAP Today.
Well, thank you, Jason. I really appreciate being here. Thanks for all your work.
Nice to have you. And Trey Stewart is the Assistant House Minority Leader, and he is from right here in Presque Isle. Trey, thank you and welcome to the program.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
So I wanted to hear from both of you, and we're so thankful to have you on our board of directors because your perspective and the commitment that you have to our work and the contact that you have with your constituents is a vital voice on our board. What are you hearing right now in terms of from your constituents of what the needs are in the community and what's going well at this time? Because I think community is really pulling together. So why don't I start with you, Troy?
Sure. Thanks, Jason. I mean, I think, we've been dealing with this for like 7 weeks now, going on 8. And I think people are obviously, there's some people that have, different opinions about it, but I think everyone is really, really concerned about the health of the people in the county, in the state, and obviously in the country. I think Massachusetts last Monday had actually 100 people pass away on Monday, which is really, really sad. We've been obviously very fortunate that we've had a lot less cases, but I think after you get over the health aspect of it, and we will obviously get through that at one point. It's what this has done to the economy, to people's jobs and businesses. That is like really heartbreaking. Had so many people that's called about that. We've had a real problem with the unemployment aspect of getting through. I mean, clearly way more people filing for unemployment than we've ever had in the history of the state of Maine. But despite that, we should have had a better system. We didn't have enough people working on it to begin with. All of us, Republicans, Democrats, House and Senate members, have been pushing the administration to get more people to answer those calls, get a better system in place. And while there has been some improvements, it hasn't been enough. I think at this point, I spend like my entire day here in Allagash, sitting at the table, on the phone, on email, on Zoom, with people that are like so frustrated and disheartened by not being able to get through. And it's been really, really frustrating. And I think 2 weeks ago, we decided, as all four caucuses, to request that the governor have Commissioner Fortman come before the Labor and Housing Committee. That was even after the request, a bit challenging. And we finally just went ahead and asked for the hearing to be this Wednesday at 1 p.m. because, we feel strongly that there's more that can and should be done that has not gone as well at all as it should have. And, I think at minimum, the problems that people have had getting their unemployment, their expanded federal unemployment for small businesses, that would make people at least feel somewhat better about how things are going on during this crisis. But there's been, like you said, a lot of people that have really stepped up, which is, very heartening. But at the same time, government should and can and needs to do a better job helping people out through this crisis. So it's been a mixed bag, and I've certainly felt very frustrated by a lot of this, and and at the same time, felt real sympathy for people across the state and country for what's going on right now, and hoping that there's some better news coming shortly about testing, and hopefully a virus, something that your immune system could handle, or a vaccine, so that maybe people won't be going through this over the next coming months and year.
Representative Trey Stewart, you hearing the same thing from your constituents as well in terms of concerns?
Yeah, it's been very similar. Every day we get multiple phone calls from folks in the district that are, originally it was very, very much on the unemployment side. Folks are struggling to get through to DOL, didn't know where to turn. When the government has told folks that they no longer can have an income, they have to go home, their businesses have to shut down, and at the same time are relying on the government to be able to provide them with these benefits, it's very frustrating for them. I mean, these are folks that are losing their livelihoods. My heart goes out to all of them. And frankly, I wish that there was more that we could do. I'm sure Troy feels the same way up in the Allagash. When we're in the county and, folks are making decisions in Augusta that aren't getting communicated effectively across the rest of the state, that makes it really hard for folks to understand what's going on and to feel good about what's happening. I think that, to Troy's point too, I agree. I think that we've got to focus not just on the health of folks, but also on how we get our economy going again. Those don't have to be mutually exclusive goals. We can care about both, right? We can care about making sure that Mainers are safe and healthy. And at the same time, we can care about getting our economy moving again and making sure that folks have jobs to go back to when the dust finally settles from this thing. I know that folks are really frustrated, business owners in particular. A lot of them have reached out, and a lot of them are confused. They're confused as to how, with the latest order that came out, how come, a barber shop can open on Main Street and right next to it, the other businesses have to stay closed when, they might be able to stay further away than a barber would be able to, or a hairdresser or whatever. And we haven't gotten a lot of clarity as to why some of those decisions have been made the way that they've been made. And so when constituents ask some of those questions, the frank but frustrating answer is that we don't know. At least I don't know. So I'm really hoping that as this thing continues to play out, that the communication from the executive branch to the legislative branch will be stronger. We'll continue to share information with the folks that are the boots on the ground, right? There's 186 legislators spread out all across every corner of the state. And those are the folks that are going to be fielding a lot of those phone calls, because when something goes wrong with state government in particular, we're the ones that get the phone call. So more communication would be really helpful as we try to navigate our way out of this. At the same time, seeing a lot of good as well. Just a lot of folks. The county is a very strong community, and we've seen a lot of folks step up to the plate and give back in whatever ways that they can. We're seeing farmers donating some of their crop that they're not being able to sell to help address hunger. We're seeing folks doing a lot of challenges on social media. Some I've been able to participate in that, contributing to the groups that are able to help service our community in a variety of ways that may be struggling financially right now. I know a lot of clubs and nonprofit organizations and whatnot are really struggling to stay afloat as well. And some of the pressure that has been alleviated by some federal programs doesn't apply to them. And so for them, they need the community to step up and help out as much as they can. And to the credit of the county, that's what I've been seeing. And it's a good feeling to know that we live in such a great place. So it's been frustrating, but it's also been encouraging for a lot of respects.
So I'm going to start with you on this question, Representative Stewart. You're both leaders in your respective chambers in the legislature. Is what you're seeing in Aroostook County similar to what's happening across the rest of the state? Is Aroostook County faring better or worse, or how are things going here compared to the rest of the state?
Well, the first thing, we got to look at the amount of cases that we have. All throughout the last 7 weeks or so, we've only had 5 cases throughout all of the county, which is great as far as maintaining public health up here. Economically, our economy is a little less tourist based than some of the other counties, particularly along the coast, that have been basically told that they can't open this summer. So in that respect, we're probably going to fare a little bit better than some of those other coastal communities. But certainly still have a lot of challenges. Agriculture is going to be a big challenge when the schools shut down. A lot of the farmers lost contracts that they would otherwise be able to sell their produce to. That's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to figure out how to get a lot of those farmers made whole again. And I think that's where the federal government will have to help out at some point. We're going to see, there's still a component of we don't know what we don't know yet. And I think we're still waiting on, the July revenue forecast. The governor moved up the revenue forecast to July. That'll be a really telling report when that comes out, to be able to see what the actual impact has been up to that point on the economy of Maine, and probably have some telltale signs of where we're heading as well and how we're going to try to get out of this thing. Aroostook is we're a very rural county. We're a very old county based on average age. And so what challenges we may have up here and what we see down in Portland are probably going to be 2 different things. So we'll have to come up with some sort of response, in my opinion, that's regionally based as opposed to statewide based. And that's probably going to be the case, across all the different regions of Maine.
Senator Jackson, your thought on how Aroostook versus the rest of the state is faring, and is it the same, or are the challenges different?
Well, no, I mean, I think it's really hard to know for certain. I mean, obviously we're different in many respects, but one of the cases of COVID-19 is actually like just 4 miles down the road here from me. And I think it really exemplifies what the problem could be. There was actually a person from Connecticut that came home on a bus, got picked up in Bangor, and then drove to his mother's house and gave his mother the virus. And that's really, unfortunately, what we could be looking at. Clearly, we don't have the tourism base that coastal Maine does, but we certainly do have people that do come here and Massachusetts is, like I said, exploded. New Hampshire's not really that better off. And a lot of those people flood into Maine in the summertime. And I think the biggest thing, that would really help, businesses across the state be able to open up with more surety is if we had more testing ability. I do think there's going to be something coming forward this week from IDEX down in Westbrook that's maybe going to help a lot in that regard. But I definitely think that, there's ways that we can give businesses more flexibility to open up. I think that's certainly been part of what I would like to see happen, is that the legislature have more of a say in that, with business leaders, health experts, and put some of these issues forward. Like I said, given more flexibility. I mean, a more local thing for me is, and it's not a huge financial benefit to the people or businesses here, but the Allagash waterway being closed down, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. I mean, that is like one of the most remote places you can go in the state, and people could certainly go 7 days without seeing anyone else, especially this time of year. So it's things like that I think clearly we could have open up and operating. Some of these guide businesses could have every other room rented. There's definitely things that could happen, but I am very concerned of some people, and I get it both ways. I mean, I literally have people on the coast calling me, telling me not to reopen the state of Maine, and then got other people calling me that saying, why haven't you already opened it up? Some people's arguments are that if we open it up, and then we have an explosion of cases in here in Maine, instead of losing the month of May, they're going to lose the whole summer. I'm very concerned about that. And I can appreciate that also. But I think that, there's definitely some things that we could do. But I'm very concerned about, the 7 weeks we've spent already. If everything is thrown wide open again, which I can understand some business owners, certainly wanting that because they're losing their businesses. But if it's all thrown open again, and we do have an explosion across the state, we're going to lose whatever grounds we gained at this point. And in addition to that, what really worries me a lot is the healthcare workers that are working out there, taking care of all of us during this. I mean, putting their lives on the line. I mean, we would be in effect, just putting more danger and risk on all these people. And like I said, if we can get more testing in Maine, I think we can definitely make it much better for everyone, businesses, employees, I mean, everything across the state. And that's certainly what I'm hoping for. But we do need more flexibility from the administration.
That lends itself to my next question for the both of you, and I'll start with you on this one, Senator Jackson. What makes you hopeful right now?
Well, I mean, I guess, first and foremost that we have had less cases in Maine and not had the problems of Massachusetts, New York, many other states. That definitely makes me hopeful. I think that, there is a real opportunity here shortly to get much more testing. I don't know all the particulars about it or anything like that, but and if we are able to, find out people that have the virus early, then probably we won't have the same concerns about everybody having to quarantine, social distance, shut businesses down because they can't do the quarantine and the social distance as much. I guess I'm hopeful because the people in the state of Maine are hardworking, industrious, very adept at making things work. This has put an incredible strain on them. There's no doubt about it. And unfortunately, there'll probably be a number of businesses that won't reopen. And that's, really hard to hear or talk to those people that have put everything into something and lost it because of this. But, I like I said, I guess I'm mostly hopeful because we've had less cases. We have a great group of people in this state, University County, and I'm hopeful that we can, soon get over this and get back going, and that nationally there's going to be something that comes forward that makes sure that later on this summer, this fall, we won't have another nationwide outbreak of this. And I'm hopeful that, we can put this one safely away because of, a vaccine or something that helps in that regard.
And Representative Stewart, what makes you hopeful?
Good question. And I agree with Troy on all those points. I mean, I think, the medical advances that we'll see, I think they've sped up since the start of this, and I think they're going to continue to speed up to deliver what we need in order to finally feel safe and healthy and comfortable around people again. I've been trying to find silver linings in all of this. A couple that come to mind. One, I go to law school, and in my spare time, whatever that is anymore. We've transitioned. We went from a fully in-person setting to now 100% online. And so it's proven to a lot of folks that it can be done. It should be done. And I think, that's going to be a major disruption, I think, to a lot of educational institutions that may have otherwise been hesitant or resistant in some cases to making that transition, as well as telehealth and telemedicine. And both of those components are going to make life easier in places like Aroostook County, that, you suddenly don't have to go to Portland to get a visit with a specialist in a healthcare field if you can visit from, your kitchen table. And you don't have to be necessarily in the classroom in order to get a quality education at an affordable rate. And so those are the things that I'm sort of looking for, the lessons learned from all of this, that it can be done, it should be done, and is going to be a big shot in the arm for places like Aroostook County once we can finally, channel the opportunity from all of this into something positive. So that's how I've been trying to look around. Again, I mentioned earlier the community aspects of folks coming together. That's all great. I think there are plenty of silver linings in this to pick up on as well. The biggest challenge is going to be making sure that they're delivered on and that we keep our foot on the gas on some of those initiatives going forward after things get back to normal, whenever that happens.
So my last question for the both of you, and I'll begin with you on this one, Representative Stewart, is any other things that we haven't covered that you wanted to talk about? And then lastly, your advice for people who are coping through this challenging time in terms of what's getting you through it.
Yeah, well, what's getting me through it all, that's an easy one. It's been my family. I've actually been able to spend some time with my immediate family throughout all of this. My dad lives across the street from me in Presque Isle, and so, social distancing, 6 feet, but been able to actually spend some time with him and get off the road some. And that's been another silver lining, I guess, in all of this. Lean in on the folks that you love and care about. I know that we're all feeling a lot of the same things, particularly as the weather gets nicer up here. We want to be, more active than we are. We want to get out of the house. We want to go do things that we like to do and enjoy Aroostook County for what it is. The good news is that a lot of the stuff that's outdoors we can do. As Troy mentioned, there's some hookups that don't make a lot of sense. Hopefully we can get those figured out in terms of opening up waterways and whatnot. But there's still plenty to be able to do. Try to stay active as best that you can. That'd be my advice. Go outside and try to enjoy, all of the beauty and the really impressive nature that we have up here that doesn't exist in other parts of the world. I know it can be tough, but a lot of folks, particularly this goes back to telehealth and medicine and whatnot, but mental health is something I've been following pretty closely. I think, unfortunately, the governor's report came out that the opioid crisis is still a very big problem. We increased opioid deaths from over the last year. I'm really worried that we're going to see a spike in both mental health related and opioid related deaths. And I hope that we're able to come together as a community to try to support those that struggle with those things. And I know that you guys have resources available to help folks sort of cope with a lot of those things. Gordon Smith at the state has been working on trying to figure out how to navigate some of this as we try to get through it. But lean in on your friends, lean in on your family. We're all going through this together. It's frustrating. It's wicked frustrating, and I understand that. But we got to stay positive and find ways to try to still connect with one another. Social media can be good, it can be bad. I try to only post the positive things on social media because we need to build up a strong network there that's going to be focused on the good and sharing good things that are happening. You guys have a ton of good stuff that you're doing all the time from a distance, with all the classes and educational opportunities and whatnot that you explained earlier. I try to share those on social media. Your resource, the link is it at rusticcommunity.com to get resources? Can you correct me if I'm wrong on that, Jason?
No, that's indeed the link. And if you're unable or prefer not to go online for whatever reason, if you call us, we do have folks that are standing by and can either put the information online. It's a great place to not only ask for help, but if you want to give help as well. So we've been trying to match folks up if there's a senior citizen who prefers not to go to the grocery store for reasons that are understandable right now and would like to have someone deliver those to her home. We're hoping that we can make those matches and have been successful in making some of those matches. So yeah, rusticcommunity.com.
Yeah, so that's a great resource, another great resource. Thanks for all you guys are doing at ACAP. It's a big deal. It matters a lot to the community and you're making a big difference. So thanks, Jason.
Thank you to you, Representative Stewart and Senator Jackson. Any last words and thoughts you wanted to share with folks and what your advice is for folks coping through these difficult days?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think what we're going through right now is so contrary to what many people are like. I mean, one of the things that I've always enjoyed so much, people like to get together, talk, gather, be at coffee shops or whatever. And, now they're not able to do that. And certainly, like Trey said, I mean, you're seeing more social media. I see people doing like karaoke night and stuff like that, which, is fun to see anyways. People put themselves out there like that. But I mean, it's depressing in one way because, like I said, it is contrary to what so many people in Maine, just the easygoing way that many people are. And you don't have that so much because you're just not able to get together as much. But I mean, I think, the positive is that it is, we are going to get through this. I mean, we are health-wise, we are going to get through. And we've been so much better than a lot of other states, the horror that they've gone through. And I'm hopeful that when we do, we'll be able to find things that we can come together as a state, elected leaders, and work on to try and make better for people that have lost during this time. I mean, Trey was talking about farming. I definitely think we need to put together a program where at the very least we can help people get planted, maybe with the idea that if they can't sell their crops, the state will take it over and buy it and then, give it out to places like Good Shepherd and things like that. But I'm just hopeful that, we are going to get through this and we are going to come together and work on things to try and make people's lives better here in the state of Maine. I definitely think that, we're going to do that. I mean, as a legislature, as the administration, and it's been challenging for some respects, but I know it's important, and I know everyone feels that it's important. So that's kind of some of the things, and certainly, like Trey said too. I mean, ACAP with LIHEAP funding, feeding children, feeding all kinds of people. I saw stories of people that delivered food by sled dogs. And I mean, there's just so many great things that's happened that people really went above and beyond to make people's lives better. That's the type of spirit that I love and I want to get back to full time.
Well, I want to thank you both. And in terms of counting our blessings here in Aroostook County, I think we can both count the two of you as blessings for this region, that you both care so deeply for the people of Aroostook County and your constituents, and are key advocates not only for them, but for people across the state of Maine, as you both hold your leadership positions. And we are most fortunate here at ACAP to have your voice in our governance on our board of directors. So my thanks and my hat off to the both of you.
Thank you, Jason.
And thank you both. And before we leave you today, we do want to remind you, as Representative Stewart indicated, that the county resource, aroostookcommunity.com, is there for you. It's a website connecting people who need help and who want to give help. Please do go online and register. There's no cost for registration, and all of the queries of the past have been posted under certain categories, so you can go back and look to see if there might be a resource that's available to you or an answer to your question when you go right onto the site. In addition to that, we do want to remind you, as both of our guests have indicated, that we do want you to keep in touch. We are in this together. Please reach out if we can help you in any way, 764-3721 or acap-info@acap-me.org. You can also connect with us on Facebook. Check out our YouTube channel, where you can see some of our early care and education and prevention folks doing some wonderful lessons that are available for the entire community, or reading a storybook, and see us online at acap-me.org. And lastly, as we do each day, I'm sharing with you this snapshot of the day, which is just to the left in my view today. One of our bus monitors, who's been delivering hundreds and thousands of meals to Head Start and early Head Start and childcare families in central Aroostook County, Phyllis Howe, who has a wonderful green thumb, has a garden filled with daffodils right now, and she brought in daffodils for every member of our team working at the main office here in Presque Isle today. So we thank you, Phyllis, for that. And as a reminder to us all, daffodils are a symbol of spring and new life. And so we can all use that reminder today. On behalf of all of us here at ACAP, 160 staff across Aroostook County, and our board of directors, two of whom were our guests today, we thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with a number of other board directors tomorrow. We'll be talking about another topic during this special week on ACAP Today. For now, I'm Jason Parent, wishing you all a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining us.